Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to WrestleMania Night 1 preview with Xenia. She's in Vegas now. Look at the hotel room. I spare no expense for the hotel room and watch somebody come in. Anyways, are you excited? Night 1 of WrestleMania. Are you excited?
I'm super excited. It's one of the biggest nights in our industry, in professional wrestling of the year. So it's something huge. You can't help but be excited.
Yeah, it's WrestleMania 41, right? So it's going to be it's the granddaddy of them all, but we're going to get through the matches. Let's first start off. Everybody wants to watch this match: Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Will Naomi bring her fellow, NXT friends, Lash Legend, Shakara Jackson, in there? Because Naomi can't beat Jade Cargill alone. She'll have interference or something like that. What do you say?
I think she will. And like we were saying on the NXT preview, Lash Legend and Jakara are stars. Like those are the girls that have the look, have the star quality. The fans love them, so it's about time that they shine on the main roster. And this feud with Naomi and Jade Cargill has been amazing. And I also feel like Jade Cargill could become that driving force for Naomi to break through the proverbial mid card ceiling or floor or whatever it is, depends on where you look from. But I'm Team Naomi all the way. And even though I love Jade Cargill, everyone knows I love Jade Cargill. She has this amazing look about her, this amazing presence. She's tall, she's jacked out of her mind. It's amazing. But Naomi is a WWE original almost. I remember watching the season of the game show old format NXT where Naomi appeared in WWE for the first time, and it's immediately her charisma, her uniqueness, like you immediately gripped by it. And it's been amazing to watch her journey all these years. So I think it's time for her to finally rise like a phoenix and reach that new level of her potential that she has so much of.
And I'm just thinking right now, and I know this is not fair, but if it's not Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, maybe it's Jimmy Uso, because Jay Uso is busy, and maybe it's Jimmy Uso comes out and hell, they got the next match we're talking about, El Grande Americano, Chad something or other, versus Rey Mysterio. They got this guy under a mask. They could get Jimmy under a mask, help Naomi there, and maybe they could have mixed tag matches. Jade Cargill and her husband, who's a former baseball player, Brandon Phillips, or her cute kid, put it that way, always at ringside there and all that. But let's go to the second match, like I mentioned, Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Who do you think is this one?
We've had very mixed reviews of the Grande Americano gimmick. Like, it's definitely something. I have to put my trust in Chad Gable. Like, I know that anything that is handed him, anything that's thrown his way, he's going to be amazing
But he's
at
not
because
Chad
he
Gable.
is.
El Grande Americano. ¿Qué pasa contigo? Come on.
It's a scoop. It's a scoop, brother. It's an insider.
Inside information. There you go. That's why.
Yeah.
So
No,
you're
but
going with
it's
Chad
it's
Gable.
interesting because people at one point thought that I wasn't a fan of Chad Gable because I guess I worded something wrong when I said that him having a match with Penta was apparently a bad thing, which I never meant it like that. I think it's a great thing. I think it was a great match. But it was that Penta was supposed to initially debut on the Netflix debut show, I think, right? And then got scrapped. So I kind of was experiencing my grievances about that and not specifically the match that he was going to have at the next show. And people thought I was throwing shade at Chad Gable. I would never, never. He's one of the best in-ring competitors in WWE. So I'm very excited to watch that match. But in terms of winning it, that's a different story.
You mentioned El Grande Americano, Latin, and all that, and you mentioned Peta. All I'm gonna say is El Grande Americano better have zero miedo. All right, he better have zero miedo, and let's hope he wins. But I think this probably is one of the last WrestleManias that Rey Mysterio is going to fight at and going to be at. They inducted him into Hall of Fame already, so like they got to give Rey Mysterio a big
He's
send
like
off.
one of those like helicopter parents who already dropped off their kid at school and
Yeah.
still kind of hovering. Like that's Rey Mysterio right now.
That's it. That's Rey Mysterio, and we'll talk about his kid later. But U.S. Championship, U.S. Championship, U.S. LA Knight. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Fatu. I think it's a big, big weekend for the Usos, for the Fatu, for everybody in wrestling, but especially these guys. I think he's going to win the title, Jacob Fatu. What do you say?
Yeah, from what I've been seeing online, it doesn't seem like LA Knight is the favorite. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Um, but I like him a lot, and I will be rooting for him in this match. Do I think he will actually win? Probably no.
No. It's hopefully it's going to be a good match. It's not going to be a squash because every
Hopefully,
time this
yeah.
guy Jake Fatu comes in, it turns now into a squash.
No.
Speaking about squashes, tag team titles on the line: the War Raiders versus the New Old Day, or is it New Day, Heel Day, whatever? Do they give Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods the title, or does Big E come out and sort of screw the New Day?
Possibly. A lot of people will be happy about that if that happens. But honestly, for me, even as a heel, I would love for Coffee to kind of have that redemption, to kind of have his moment because, it was very unfortunate the way he lost his world title when he was champion, and it provoked a lot of bad feelings from the fan base. So I honestly, personally would love for him to have his moment, even if it has to be to the sound of the boos of the arena. So I'll be hoping for that.
All right, women's championship. Now everybody's interested in this match. Charlotte Flair, come on, give me her signature phrase. Come on.
Woo!
All right. Charlotte Flair up against Tiffany Stratton. And these ladies, I don't know if they're friends. They don't hate each other. But
Frenemies.
frenemies. This is going to be a very, very interesting because Charlotte Flair, WrestleMania, when she's wrestled singles, hasn't lost. So did they put the belt on Charlotte Flair, or do they give Tiffany a big, big victory, let alone it's at WrestleMania against Charlotte Flair?
I think the streak continues. Tiffany is champion, has been champion, has had a great run, and she's been pushed relatively quickly to how long she's been wrestling, even, let alone how long she's been on the main brands. And I'm a big fan of Tiffany. I think she has a huge future. I think she has it all. I think she's a full package. I absolutely adore her. But I think Charlotte has it in the bag, honestly. And I'm also a big fan of Charlotte. Again, I've seen a lot of people kind of turn their back on Charlotte recently. Maybe some things have been repetitive, people think, or maybe they feel like she's been in the spotlight too long, but sometimes you're just that good. Like, what are you suggesting? Not putting someone who's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world in the spotlight? Are you suggesting hiding her or not pushing her? Like, what are
I'm
you
not
trying to tell me?
suggesting
It's
anything.
only
I
fair.
think
It's only
that,
fair that
that
she's in the spotlight.
I think that's 2 weeks ago they went off script, but I liked it.
Right.
I like when they go off script and everything like that. But I'm gonna
I personally
dispel.
don't love it when that happens
Yeah,
because, my reasons for why I like wrestling have nothing to do with violence or confrontation.
yeah.
So for me, honestly, that would be a concern going into that match. Is there a certain level of trust? Is it present to where they can deliver a good match? Because ultimately, a good match relies on trust and chemistry and cohesion. So, is it going to be present for that match? That would be my question. That would be a concern. And hopefully, it is. Hopefully, they can put some of their beef behind them.
So we talked about rumors and it's fact. I'm gonna dispel a rumor right now. All right, I know you get it all the time. Ludwig Kaiser is not in your DMs.
He's
He's not.
not in my DM.
All right. So there goes. He's asking now for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther. You like how I say that, eh? Gunther versus Yeet. I think the whole world is going to be eating, not eating, yeeting. All right. Jey Uso. Now let me ask you a question. Do they put the belt on him, or is that a little bit too early? They give him, a run maybe in June's pay-per-view or Premier Live event, or in August when it's SummerSlam. Does Gunther go over, or do they just give it right now to Jey Uso?
I think Jey Uso is going to win it. He's been so on fire. He's been the
Yeet.
most over wrestler in the company. But I will tell you, if Gunther loses at WrestleMania, I will cry. So there's that.
Get some Kleenex because I think he's going to lose. And I don't think it's going to be. I think we talked about him just a couple minutes ago. Jimmy Uso. Remember, Jimmy Uso got taken out by Gunther. So I believe that Jey Uso wins because of Jimmy Uso, and then we have an Uso celebration. Imagine if Naomi wins. It's all and
The family.
It takes Rikishi 20 minutes to come down to celebrate one of these Undertaker entrances. But that should be a good match, and let's hope, because this guy has been working 15 years as a tag team, and now to be at the top of the game, world champion. And Gunter, what does he have? 3 losses in 4 years. So it's big there. Although I'll say this, I heard a rumor. A little birdie told me Brock Lesnar's in Vegas.
Oh no!
I hear a little birdie
No, we
told
can't
me.
have that.
A little birdie told me that they're negotiating a contract and they want to put Brock Lesnar and Gunther together. You like to see that one?
Ew. No.
Ew. Okay. Let's go into the main event of WrestleMania 41 this Saturday. By the way, it starts at 7 p.m. I've been told both nights are going to be 18 hours. So 9 hours one night. No, it's true. You're laughing, but it's true. You know why? Because NXT on Saturday starts at 1, let's say to 4. They got a 3-hour pregame show, and then 7 to midnight, and then midnight to 1 is the post show. So we're going to go from 1 to 1. All right.
And when you add Hall of Fame, when you add Slammies, when you add WWE World, it's literally just days, not even hours, days of wrestling that are upon us.
I told you better get some sleep now. Triple threat match, main event, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, acknowledge him, and CM Punk's first WrestleMania. The key thing is the wise man, my Jewish friend, by the way, happy Passover to Paul Heyman and all the Jews out there, is going to be in CM Punk's corner. But you saw Raw this week, and you want all 3 guys to win. Like let's face it, you want all 3 guys to win.
And it also doesn't matter as much whose corner Paul Heyman starts in. It matters whose corner he's going to stand in by the end of it. So that's definitely something to look out for.
That's the story. And really, nobody's talking about who's going to win because nobody really cares. Seth Rollins is established. Roman Reigns, is
extremely established.
And CM Punk, I think they built the storyline. This is CM Punk's first main event of WrestleMania.
Finally.
What do you say if he gets the win, celebrates with Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman screws CM Punk and gives him a low blow, and then Seth Rollins gives him the curve stomp, and that's how you close out WrestleMania, night 1.
I don't know how I would feel about that. I don't know how Punk would feel about that. I don't think that's how he wins his first ever WrestleMania main event to conclude. But in the end of the day, a win is a win, right?
Yeah. So who do you say in that one?
Honestly, probably Punk. Like, it's almost like a finish in the story type of thing again. But last year it was Cody, this year it's CM Punk. Like, it's been so many years coming, so it's only fair.
And honestly, this should have been, if they had any foresight, the winner of this match gets a title match, and I could have seen tomorrow, let's say CM Punk go up against Cody Rhodes or John Cena. Everybody wants to see Punk and Cena again. Seth and Cena, Roman Reigns and Cena. So that leads to night 2. But Xenia, you're very famous on social media. Tell everybody how they could get a hold of you on social media.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm Xenia Did That. That's Xenia on all social media. That's Instagram, Twitter, or X, YouTube, anything. You can also look up my merch that way on Pro Wrestling Tees or Teespring. And yeah, I also do social media and media guidance for wrestlers, wrestling promotions. That's something I'm very passionate about. I have free webinars every Monday at 2 p.m. ET. So check out my socials and click the link and register for one, or just DM me and ask me any questions that you can possibly have about this.
And by the way, I checked out one of your Mondays webinars. You definitely, everybody in the world, definitely make it a point that I think it's about 45 minutes to half an hour, 45 minutes. Make it up. If you don't got 45 minutes to listen to, like I'm going to say, a veteran who knows the wrestling industry, who gets wrestlers to know how to cut a promo, to know everything, to keep. By the way, I'm going to say this. Keep your money. You make money. Don't spend it. Keep it in the long term, because I hear a million of wrestlers, oh, I wish I saved money. I wish I did this. I wish I did. No. You save your money, and that's it. And check out Monday's webinar with Xenia, and you'll find out what she did, because Xenia did that on all social medias. We'll be back for night 2 of WrestleMania. Thank you, Xenia.
Thank you.